This is the way it looked to the batter. First, there was the leg kick higher than a man of his huge frame should have been able to take it. With a kick like that, he shouldn't be throwing baseballs. He should be kicking 62-yard field goals. The kick seemed to have a will of its own, like a Joe Frazier left hook or the thunder the LeBron James dunk. It was a trigger that unleashed the power in the right arm and turned it into the best his anatomy could give. It was inevitably followed by the explosive sound of the ball hammering its way into catcher Roy Campanella's mitt. This was the Don Newcombe fastball. Newcombe passed away at 92 on Tuesday. But the memory of that fastball will remain evergreen for those among us who were blessed to sit in the bleachers at the old Polo Grounds, clutching a brown bag with a sandwich and an apple on a Sunday in the best of possible worlds, a New York Giants doubleheader with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Or if you could get tickets for the smallest park in the major leagues, squeeze into Ebbets Field, watch the same teams continue the most ferocious rivalry in the game's history. For 6 years until the team left Brooklyn, he was a part. He won Rookie of the Year, MVP and the Cy Young. A four-time All-Star, who led the league in strikeouts one year and victories in another. Always it was the fastball. It was the pitch that took him from the Negro National League to the Brooklyn and Los Angeles Dodgers, and later to Cincinnati, Cleveland and even Japan, where a 240-pound man could never quite get comfortable in a dugout built for smaller people. And then it ended. The fastball betrayed him, and so did his body. But that was inevitable. The fastball had taken him from a bumpy semi-pro Sandlots of Union County to the Newark Eagles of the National League and an African-American constituency that adored him. It took him from there to the glory years in Brooklyn. But with added pressure in Brooklyn, he staggered onto an invisible battlefield, where the fastball was of no help. It was a war that was often secret, occasionally public and seemingly unwinnable. It was no stranger to baseball. Long before steroids and human growth hormones, alcohol was the drug of choice. Don Newcombe was neither the first nor the last to lose that fight. He lost that battle and his fastball at the same time. But from the rubble of his career, he found redemption and a purposeful life. Later, he described that nightmare like this: I was a stupefied, wife-abusing, child-frightening, falling down drunk. In 1965, broke and desperate for alcohol, he pawned his World Series ring. A year later, his third wife told him she would leave him unless he quit drinking. That same year, Peter O'Malley, whose dad owned the Dodgers, was in charge of the organization's Spokane farm team. He had learned about Newcombe's ring through a friend and bought it. He then sought out the ex-pitcher. On Wednesday, he told me what happened. I told him I had it, but I said, I will not return it to you until you put your life together, O'Malley said. He had hit absolute bottom, and that's probably what saved him. He understood what he had to do, and he knew how hard it was going to be. Eventually, Newcombe was running a substance abuse program for the Dodgers. He helped Maury Wills, Bob Welch and Steve Howe of the Dodgers, among others. He helped other players around the league. He lectured and counseled military men and women. He was always available. He toured all the major league locker rooms with his message and his advice. Don Newcombe turned his life around, O'Malley said. He was strong and passionate about his work. When I gave him the ring, we sat down and he told me the whole story. I am proud to say he was my friend. I'm thinking back to a night 55 years ago in a near-empty bar he owned on Orange Street in Newark. Business was dying and he casually said, "Hey, this is Newark. Where are all those black fans who loved me with the Eagles? You'd think some of them would patronize me." We did not discuss alcohol, but we did discuss his troubled road through baseball. They said I couldn't win the big one, but I won 27 games that year, he said. That said, I was lazy. They didn't like the way I walked. Well, I always walked slow then. I walk slow now. On the baseball field, I figured if it's not your day, they'll come and get you out of there soon enough. So, why hurry to get there? I made money, but not enough. The trouble was I didn't care. All those awards, I should have stayed home that winter and cashed in on them when appearances. Instead, I felt pressure to join a barnstorming tour to Japan. Everything was going wrong and I just didn't care. I went to Japan, pitched absolutely lousy. I was divorced. I just didn't give a damn. I never related those thoughts that were so freely expressed to an alcohol problem. I didn't know he had one. Today I do, and today I think Peter O'Malley was right. Yes, he was a thrower of blazing fastballs. But the fastball didn't turn his life around. And it wasn't the discarded World Series ring. What it was something he always had inside him. It was slow to surface, but it came alive at crunch time when it really counted. It was the best fastball he ever threw.